What's up, Internet? Happy Halloween. The Day of the Dead is almost upon us, and what better way to set the tone than with some scary games. So here are my top 5 scariest games to play on Halloween. Coming in at number 5 is Until Dawn. Recently released but met with lots of praise, Until Dawn has made a name for itself in the horror genre, and with good reason. It plays out as a stereotypical 80s teen horror movie, and that is to the game's credit. It knew what it wanted to be, and it went after it, and the payoff was huge. The game is addicting with its multiple choices, detailed environments, and creepy storytelling. After my first playthrough, I was excited to get back in and make a completely different choice to see basically a whole new game. While the sound design is not great, and it can take you out of the experience in a few areas, the rest of the game helps to make up for it and delivers a fun experience with huge replay value, and it will get your palms sweating without you even realizing it. It's not really scary, but it has plenty of tense moments, and it works the horror angle very, very well. This is a perfect game for Halloween night with a group of friends over. Turn off the lights and make choices by committee, and you're in for a pretty terrifying night. Coming in at number 4 is Resident Evil. Resident Evil is arguably the granddaddy of survival horror. Yes, Alone in the Dark did it first, but Resident Evil did it better. Capcom hit it out of the park again with the remake for the GameCube. Playing the original game now, it's more comical than scary. The campy dialogue, the blocky characters, and the stiff animations just don't have the same impact. It's still fun in its own right, but if you want to explore the Spencer Mansion the way it was meant to be played, then the remake is the game for you. The game holds up amazingly well. The high-def remake looks good, but the GameCube version still looks good and is just as creepy. And thanks to the pre-rendered backgrounds, a trick I wish more game designers would use, the lighting, the sound, it all comes together to present you with a feeling of uneasiness if you play it alone with the lights off. The atmosphere is only made creepier with the sound of the rain and thunder outside as you make your way through a stormy Spencer Mansion. This is a perfect Halloween game, and one that I play every year on Halloween. Coming in at number 3 is Petey, which we now know is a playable teaser for the Silent Hills game that's apparently not going to come out. Regardless, this game should appear at the top of every top list this year for a Halloween game, and for many years to come. It's a damn scary game. This could have been number 1 or number 2 on my list, but I felt that number 3 was a great spot for it. And the party piece for this game is in how simple it is. It consists of a room and a corridor, and that's it. It just keeps looping. It'll change slightly based on your actions, and it's likely that the player is going to quit well before they solve all the creepy puzzles, unless they use an online guide or get incredibly lucky. This is a really tricky game, but it's definitely worth putting the time into. The subtle light changes, the sound design, the phenomenal visuals crank the creepy factor up to 10 in this love letter to horror. It's a shame that it's been pulled from the PlayStation Store. If you don't have it downloaded already, you most likely will never get a chance to experience it unless you have a friend with it, and that's a damn shame. Luckily here at the Daily Goat Show, we still have it on our PlayStation 4, and we're going to play it this Halloween. There's not much else really to be said about this game. You have to experience it really to get the full feeling of what this game is going for. It is a perfect Halloween game. If you play this alone by yourself with the lights off on Halloween, more power to you, and good luck.
With a garden hose they had in the garage.
Coming in at number 2 is Dead Space. Dead Space puts you into an environment that immediately has the player on edge. You're lost and trapped in what looks to be an abandoned space station, but you quickly realize you're not alone, not even close. The ship is infested with monsters. They're crawling on the ceiling and through the vents. It absolutely has a Aliens and Event Horizon vibe to it. Now, the monsters, or necromorphs, they seem to stalk you and watch you at every turn. The game took itself seriously as a horror title, and it paid dividends in how well the game created a scary, tension-filled atmosphere. The sound is spot on, and it gives you the feeling that the monsters are real and they're in the room with you. Playing this game alone in the dark is a challenge that only a select devilish few could possibly meet. Now, I found that I enjoyed the segments without action a lot more than the shooty bits, just for the sheer atmosphere and creepiness of the game. I feel the game is at its best when it's trying to creep you out with sounds and subtle lighting movements rather than throwing monsters at you, and it does that in spades throughout the game very, very successfully.
I've heard about this place. A long time ago, there was a village here that disappeared during a festival. People who get lost in the woods are trapped by the village. Could this be that place?
Coming in at number 1, may not be a surprise, but it's Fatal Frame 2: Crimson Butterfly. Now, I originally had this at number 2, but after capturing footage for the video, I was reminded why it needs to top the list, and so here it is at number 1. Released for the PlayStation 2 and Xbox, Fatal Frame 2 centered around a set of twins that ended up having to explore this creepy old village. Armed with only a camera, the premise is that the camera will damage and eventually capture the ghosts. It's an odd-sounding mechanic, but it works incredibly well. Now, the game and the story is actually deeper and more complicated than that, but that's a good basic overview for someone who's not familiar with the game. It looks and feels very similar to Resident Evil, from the pre-rendered backgrounds all the way to the tank controls. The game plays to its strengths and creates a very uneasy feeling in the player. You never truly feel safe playing this game. Of all the games on the list, this is the one that we don't recommend playing alone with the lights off. The reason that this tops the list is that you can tell a lot of love went into this game. The most enjoyable part for me was walking through the environment and seeing a ghost float in the background, randomly. The game doesn't mention it, and it doesn't draw attention to it, and if you miss it, then you miss it. But if you see it, well, you know.
Isn't anybody here? Should we go inside? Mayu? Mayu! What's wrong?
If you like this video, you can find more content from us at thedailygoatshow.com. Also, feel free to subscribe, like the video, and check out everything else that we have going on.